This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO. Hey, everybody. Back in the studio, WFO Ignition. Joe Castello here, podcast host, and it is a big week in motorsports land. It is a big week, just period. All kinds of stuff going on out there in the world, and everybody's like, need escapism. And that's what we're here for, to help you escape into WFO universe, where racing is king, and we have a good time, and we try to focus on the positive. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on the positive. You know what's positive? Is that Giovanni in Miami is here. That's a positive thing. Hey, Gio.
All right.
Hey, man.
Woo!
All kinds of positive stuff happening, like personally in our, micro world of NHRA drag racing. John Force got his 150th NHRA national event win.
Are you serious?
I am serious. Austin Prock picked up a win. Matt Hartford picked up a win. All kinds of good stuff. Good stuff happening. Outside of drag racing world, it's been a little bit tough. You've watched the news a little bit. And it's crazy. Drag racing world is a bubble. I'm in there, and I'm like, I see a push. I can't focus on that, whatever it is. Then you come out of drag racing world, it's like, whoa, hey, stuff's going down, man. People got things that they're doing. Crawl right back into drag racing world. It's like, crawling back into bed in the morning. Let me go back in here. I know what I'm getting in there. But yes, John Force, 150 NHRA national event wins. If you did not listen to NHRA Nitro, I don't want to say shame, ding, but the John Force Media Center bit that is right at the beginning of the show, prior to Reinhardt, is worth listening. It's 10 minutes long. You must hear it. If you have yet to hear it, you must hear it. And here's why. And I know how many people have listened. It's a decent number, but it's not overwhelming. I fully expect the debrief interview that we're going to have later on this week, maybe tomorrow, with John, now that it is all sunk in and all. We're not really the guy that you get first. Come running to me and you get the first, because I don't like that. I like people to think about it and dwell on it and kind of really sink in. A lot of people, it hasn't sunk in yet. Let it sink in. Get back with me. When you have something, sleep on it. John has slept on it, and we're going to catch up with John. But the Media Center audio is just tremendous to me. And when I found out that we weren't going to be able to get a hold of John, he went up to Tahoe to decompress. I was like, I have a solution. And I'm really proud of my solution. I work in the Media Center after the NHRA national events. I'm the guy that's got to go through the debrief with the racers, just like the interviews that we post on WFO of the NASCAR drivers, right? The top three, the whole deal. You see it in Formula One. Well, I am the guy in the Media Center at the NHRA. Now, I could go really, really in depth on this whole thing, but I'm not going to do that. Because for years, those audios have been put up, but we don't put them up because we have WFO. I'll talk to the people myself. And so I'm waiting to get the interview from John Force, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's in Tahoe. It's not going to happen. What am I going to do? I got to have Force on the show. I got to have Force. It's like, wait a second. I already interviewed John Force. I talked to him at the track. That was me. I can use that. And we put it up. So at that point that I had that revelation, that was an unbelievable piece of audio, I listened to it. I really got in depth on it, and it's fantastic. Force comes in. He is going 1,000 miles a second. Everybody's pulling him in 10 different directions, but he's got to do this. He's got to do this obligation. You got to do this. And so he comes in and just turns on and gives a full debrief of just about every question that we were going to have, but linearly. It was this, and here's the deal, and this was this, and I never thought I was going to make it, and I was worried, and I was blah, 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 and all of these things, not top to bottom. And that's what's at the start of NHRA Nitro. and we'll have John on later on the week, a standalone interview with John Force for 150. And it is going to be amazing. And I'm really happy about it. We can talk about it later, get into it a little more in depth. But I am really happy and satisfied. I had a great conversation with Brian Loans. Happy and satisfied that this moment happened. If you like drag racing, this is drag racing history. How do you compare it? Well, remember when Richard Petty won his 200th race? When Ronald Reagan was there and said, all drivers start your engines and that? Like, that is this for us. Our legend won his 150th race, the final major round milestone that John Force is going to get to. Is he going to get to 155? Is he going to get to 152? Is he going to get to 160? You know, we don't know. I know he's not getting to 200. I know that's not happening. And I don't think 160, I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. Like, that would take something incredible. I just don't see it happening. It's not. I don't want to say it's not possible, but in 3 years.
Well, it all depends on how long he races. If he races,
he says he's got 3 more years,
so he only has to win 3 a year.
Yeah, it could happen. 160 and nothing. That's the thing about John Force.
You know, he could go on a streak and win 4 in a year. 5.
Well, okay, he could get 1 or 2 more this year because now the car is right. So he could get 1 or 2 more this year. Like, that's the thing about John Force is you cannot count him out. Did you see him go into the grandstands? Like, we're going to talk about Chase Elliott, Lewis Hamilton, other great race car drivers, and all kinds of stuff. But to me, this is the most significant thing that happened this past weekend.
Well,
John,
it's history, and that's history. I don't think anybody else is going to get anywhere near him either.
Not even close, not even remotely close. Like, this is...
Even with the advantage of being more races on the schedule now than I'm sure when John started and so forth.
Caps has got like 62.
Right, you see?
He would have to run his whole career again, and he would still be very short. It's not happening. A Steve Torrence. Okay, Steve Torrence is going to win races at this clip for 20 years. Then, okay, maybe. But even then, I don't see it. So that's why this is such a big deal, such a great deal for John. There was no guarantee he was going to get it. When he got it, the top-end interview, you know the profanity, right?
What profanity?
Well, I didn't hear it, but I heard about it. I saw the bleep version. And what I would say is this. Here we are in civilization. That was the raw emotion that everybody wants. And sometimes raw emotion has profanity. And it happens with me, and it happens with everyone. And I think we're in a new universe now. Like, it's unfortunate, you know, the NHRA drag racers are on the big Fox network, and then the guy gets out and says some words. That's unfortunate. But would I fine John Force? No, I would not. Would I dock him a point? No, I would not.
They better not.
I would just let it go. Yeah, kind of like ridiculous, like taking 25 points from Dale Jr. after he won Talladega in the middle of a championship hunt, and that was the last closest moment that he ever sniffed a championship. Way to go. By the way, I will never, ever, ever forget that, and I will never, ever stop bringing it up because it was that terrible and dumb.
Yeah, but they would give him a bigger restrictor plate back then, so it all averages out.
No, it did not. That took him out of the one championship race he was in. That moment, in effect, crushed their spirit. But I digress. So for John, you could see I'm a fan.
I mean, I didn't want to bring up anything negative, but
that was annoying. No, what happened that thing?
I'm glad you're over it.
The S word. It was wrong. Like, I would like to talk to Dale Jr. about that. Dale Jr., what do you think? Come on, man, give me the real deal. They crushed you, NASCAR. They made you rich. They made you famous. You're very happy. You love what's happening and all of this stuff. But that one moment in time where they plucked points out of your points total for something that you did socially, not on the racetrack, because they were in a mood that they wanted to be like clean or sweet, and they wanted to not have bad words get out. Guess what? Have bad words got out since? Yes. Are people saying bad words? Yes. What about, and this is one, we never get political on this show, but this is not political. This is a statement of fact. the President of the United States uses profanity openly at rallies and speeches. Whether you like it or you don't like it, or you think it's good or you think it's bad, or it's the Western civilization's decline, or pure emotion and you support it because it's real. Like that's the gamut of emotions, right? Like about that. S. F. Those words get spoken. It's public. There's kids there. It's on TV. It gets spoken. The second that happened and it became acceptable, like we should never think it twice again about John Force doing a moment like that. It's the same thing. It's actually more genuine. So I don't know why anybody would get bothered about that. It was John expressing relief. F.
I did it.
He did it.
You hear me up there, Elizabeth?
Yes.
I'm coming.
I think it's more like one. Rocky, when Rocky, Adrian, I did it. Regardless. So then John comes, jumps the fence.
Jumps is, relative term.
Well, I said in the show, I said hurdled, and then I said kind of climbed, and he really just kind of fell over the fence.
He kind of climbed to the top of the fence and then fell.
Gravity assisted climbing.
I mean, you know what? Would John Force attack a fence any other way when you really think about it?
I love the fact this guy is a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, I think I'd get hurt if I tried to flop over a fence at this age. And
he climbed over too, and then they pulled him up over. Can you imagine that experience? I know Elliott.
Then he went and the fans literally pulled him over into the crowd. Yeah, it was actually,
so let's talk great moments.
I had it on. I was watching it. Thank goodness that the local Fox affiliate has been showing the Western Swing races. I had stopped even searching to see if they were showing them because last year they never showed them, and early in the first half of the season they weren't showing them. But yes, they were on, and it was awesome, and I enjoyed it. I mean, yeah. So John cursed a little.
So what? And then goes in and has an unbelievable moment. But the problem is this, and this is the great challenge. This epic sport moment, John Force, in the world of sports, there's all these different sports, right? There's Women's World Cup, and there's Fortnite Extreme, and there's, all of these different things, all right? Last week's show just had me so depressed. Drag racing is a sport. It's acknowledged to be a sport. It has been on ESPN. It has been on, Fox Sports. And this guy that all these people have covered for these years wins his 150th and has a big moment and goes into the crowd. Where is that shown? Who showed it? Did they show it on SportsCenter?
I don't know. I don't watch SportsCenter.
Right. Like, I don't know. Please tell me. I'm asking the audience.
No, it has to be out in the social media world.
Does it matter that it's not getting on the shows? Like, should we care? Like, that's what I'm wondering about. Like, this epic moment when Elio Castroneves climbed the fence, Tony Stewart climbed the fence, and all these things that happened, they showed them. It was like, oh, look at this. We're sports people, and this race car driver, look at him like a monkey. He's climbing up the fence. Wow, that's interesting. Elio, wow, who's he? Right? When John Force, 70-year-old man, wins a race, goes climbing up into the stands, falls down, does that get traction? That's what I'm wondering. Has anybody seen it anywhere? Email me, joe@wforadio.com. Anyway, super stoked about it. Like, feel great. Like I was part of something. And got to speak with him in the media center. We'll speak with him later in the week, hopefully tomorrow, and it will be great. Austin Prock, by the way. Unbelievable. Austin Prock.
I will say, I believe FoxSports.com does have a specific NHRA page, and, they don't have stories anymore.
Yeah.
It's all videos.
Yes.
And, since they don't have any sports writers and they went away from that some time ago.
Yeah, we don't need writers. We'll just get guys with cameras and we'll just
that's it. They just throw in quick little 30-second snippets. But I know that they do have an NHRA page, and so it might be there, the FoxSports.com, where they have the tabs, NFL, MLB, NBA.
I've certainly seen it all over the place. But I want to make sure it's getting out to the mainstream audience. Like, how do you get to the mainstream audience now as opposed to your niche audience on your social media? And I don't know. Austin Prock getting his first win. That was super great.
Obviously, the final round was a little bit of a shit show.
Obviously. He was on WFO. And Matt Hartford.
Pedal Fest.
pretty spectacular. Matt Hartford.
I, for a second, forgot that this was not Matt Hartford's win when I was watching, and I was like, wow, how about that? 2 first-time winners when Force wins 150. But then I remembered, I believe he won one last year.
He won one in Houston, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
And what's cool about the Matt Hartford deal is, first of all, he's on the cover of NHRA National Dragster, and we have 2 autographed copies of Matt Hartford's NHRA National Dragster
Sweet.
For WFO radio listeners, along with Matt Hartford autographed hats.
Wowzers.
We have a Matt Hartford prize pack. 2 of them.
We have a Matt Hartford connection from way back in those PRI shows. And
hanging out at the Total Seal booth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, Hartford's a friend. And honestly, Total Seal is going to come on as a WFO radio sponsor. I'm kind of announcing that last night here.
Did you just let a cat out of the bag?
Well, it's not done yet, but I mean it's
cat
done.
out of the bag. I don't know where
done.
that came from.
Well, we want, if you're a Piston Rings person,
who
you need to be getting them from Total Seal. We're going to start doing a couple different things with Matt Hartford, but who carries cats in bags? Why do you have a cat in the bag?
Right.
What's the deal with that,
let
man?
Him out. Let him out.
Yes. So that's very exciting. We're going to need everybody to buy
digress.
piston rings from Total Seal. So for all you engine people out there, Total Seal piston rings. But I digress. He gets the win over Greg Anderson. And what's cool?
He stopped the sweep.
What's cool about that is this. Through some social media pieces that we have produced on the NHRA side of the thing, I've been working on Hartford's car with his crew.
Oh, I know about this.
We took a clutch out. We put a
I'm
valve
shocked he
spring
made it that
on.
far.
The first
You
race.
didn't sabotage him.
Listen, you don't understand.
So you're going to be a crew member now, huh?
Well, what's happening is
yeah,
it's
you're
like,
going to have to work on it all the time.
It's crazy because normally I would I've been all over. First of all, I'm totally impartial. Totally impartial, always. But it requires effort sometimes. Like, here's one for you. Okay, first of all, so Greg Anderson to sweep the swing or Matt Hartford in the final round. Like, how do you decide? What do you do? When you get to the point where I am now, you think nothing. You think no thoughts. Like, whatever it's going to be, man.
No, whatever the story is.
Whatever the story is.
In our position, we generally root for the best story and for what, we could talk about the most.
Absolutely.
Really.
Right, but I had laid hands on Hartford's car.
That's
a
why
couple of
that's the
races
best story for us.
For us. So the final round in at the Dodge Nationals, where he lost to Greg Anderson, I had built the transmission that was in the car.
Yeah, no wonder he lost.
They had changed it out by the time they got to the final and runnered up. A transmission that I touch went to the final round and runnered up. That's going to be released on NHRA's social media, I believe, this week, which is pretty crazy, and it's very comedic.
Perfect. It's almost like you guys timed it perfectly.
It's a joke. They were pulling a joke on me. I figured it out. I got punked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the whole video is like, hey, Joe, first thing we need you to do is grab the shaft. Okay, I've got the shaft. Now we need you to pull on the shaft. Okay, Joe, yank the shaft. Okay, turn the shaft, Joe. What are you doing? It's like I'm turning.
It's almost like the bagpipe.
It really is. It's a very hysterical thing, and we're laughing the whole time, but I proceeded through. Bottom line is he gets another shot at Greg Anderson, and I'm in the starting line. I'm thinking about it. By the way, Caps and Tobler, buds, great guys, versus John Force. And what am I thinking? What do I do? Okay, what do I feel about this? Caps, I want Caps to win, but man, I want John Force 150. Like, I don't know. And that's the thing. You just stand on the starting line, and you just let whatever it is just happen now. You divorce yourself from emotions. And it happened the way it happened, and here we are. So check out NHRA Nitro and listen and click and share that with all your peeps, especially the first 5 minutes.
Oh, Force is about 4 minutes in, right?
4 minutes in. Was that a bad move? Should I have? I said the spots. I said the sponsors.
What is a bad move?
I had the guys captured they're going to listen to John Force, and I'm going to tell them about Magic Dry, right? The official organic absorbent of the NHRA. I'm telling them about that.
The Magic Dry Northwest National.
Exactly. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure at frankhawley.com and Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com. Marvin Rodak, which you're wondering why we're so fired up. I just had some Rodax coffee. HusseyPerformance.net. HusseyPerformance.net. Quality copper head gaskets. Hangstifer's Metalworking Lubricants, Drag Racing Edge Magazine, EV3 Drag Racing, and samtech.edu, and soon to be Total Seal, which, throw it out there. Way to go. Very excited about it. So I dropped those right before Force, figuring, people will hear it and then listen to Force.
Way to go.
There are people that they hear a spot and they're like, we'll get you.
No, but those quick live reads I think are the best.
I agree. But the whole train of spots took 60 seconds.
Yeah.
You should pull that one out and just play it. That was pretty good.
Actually, now that you mention it, that is a good idea.
60 seconds, all our sponsors. Hey, these are the people that help us, please. Or buy a shirt, one or the other. Which people are trying to buy shirts going, it's Nitrofish Racing. It would be great if I gave out the correct website from time to time. But let's dive into the NASCAR
It's
universe.
all right. The if you click on any of the links, the link sends you right to either the page on our website or the actual page at nitrofishracing.com.
You have created a wonderful story about the WFO Radio 10th anniversary T-shirts.
No way.
Yeah.
I think we discussed that on last week's show, that I was
Get
going to
your
do this.
WFO Radio T-shirt, and you click the link, and look at that. There it is.
Hump.
And people are buying these shirts, Gio. It's really
humbling. I know. I've actually seen them all over social media. They're antagonizing each other because some people are getting them sooner than others.
Is that true?
Yeah. You didn't see who was it? I think it was
Rich and Saugus.
Rich and Saugus antagonizing Lowe.
Everybody is loving the shirt.
And I believe Stubo said that they ordered theirs because they couldn't wait to go to the trailer at the couple of races from now.
I know, but the place to buy it is first of all, buy it wherever you feel comfortable buying it. Okay?
No, I get it. There's something about going to the actual trailer and picking it up there.
That's exactly right. There's something about going to the trailer, number 21, and you look up there, and
it's a good number, by the way.
One of the girls, either Ashley O or Katie Tonglet, who, Ellie's sister.
Oh, I didn't realize that's who it was.
And Jim O's daughter work in the Nitrofish,
right?
Work in the Nitrofish trailer, and so, I don't know how to say it. Like it's, it's practically extended family. Go buy the shirt. It's cool. It's cool.
Do it now.
All right. So have we finished self-aggrandizing? Hopefully everybody can tell that I'm real fired up about the weekend. The whole Western Swing was fantastic. I went into Seattle on the...
Seattle.
Couldn't get out of there. Where's that from? You do that. Where's that from? You just making that up?
Yeah, it's an old school kind of thing from down here.
Seattle's an amazing city. It's very interesting.
You hit Pike's Market?
I did not this time. The first place I went to was this roof.
Where was it? The Nest? Is that where you were
The
at?
Nest, dude.
I had heard about the Nest.
You heard about the Nest prior to me telling you about the Nest?
Yes. Dude, what do you think? That you're the only person around here that knows about places?
Yes.
Just because I've never been to Seattle doesn't mean I don't know anyone that hasn't been there.
I'm sorry. I got to push back on this.
The Darkness had mentioned that way before.
He has not mentioned that.
Right.
Seattle, the Nest. He did try to say, oh, yeah, I knew that. When's he been there? So what? Spots. Anyway, being there and experiencing it is much different than knowing it. And this place is amazing. Now, it can.
I've heard of the Red Light District in Amsterdam, even though I've never been there.
Right. Being there and experiencing it is very different. So we go to this place, and it's a rooftop bar, and we're all glowing after the John Force 150. And guess what? The place is spectacular. One of the single greatest rooftop bar views on the planet. Like, what else are we looking? What else am I looking at that is more interesting? Looking down at the market. You saw my picture. The London Eye style Ferris wheel. I've got 100 of them. I couldn't stop taking that same picture over and over again. I kept taking the picture with different lighting. During the day, during at night, this and that, etc. Amazing place. And, high-end cocktails. They're squeezing you because of the view.
Anywhere that you go drink cocktails out there squeezing you now, man.
They are squeezing you.
And the cocktails, too.
Yeah. But it was spectacular. You had these mountains. You had the whatever it is. Look at this. Fantastic shot. Look at this.
Oh, Ferris wheel and lights. I can see it down there, the public market.
And there's a ferry that goes back and forth.
You ferry.
Out into the Sound or whatever it is. So it was amazing. Mount Rainier is by the racetrack. There's mountains all over the place. But I did the underground tour because Seattle, I guess, was built, by the...
Oh, now I know. You sent those in the group text.
In the group text. Yeah, I was showing everybody, all my friends, we got a group text. I was like, hey, look, I'm in a cool spot. And did any of them answer me? Did any of them acknowledge? No.
The Central, the bar, the oldest saloon.
Where Nirvana played their first gig.
So you were there a long time because the first pictures here are daytime.
I flew out on Monday night at 8:30.
That is a nice view, actually.
Oh, my gosh, it's tremendous. And you know, you're only seeing one angle there, right? Like, you look left, you look right, you see mountains, plus the place is packed with pretty girls.
What about that basement you were in that you sent pictures that the basement looks like if it's under construction?
So that's the thing. Underground Seattle. Like, when they built Seattle the first time, they made it...
like in Atlanta?
I guess.
You know that underground in Atlanta?
No.
You've never been to the underground in downtown Atlanta?
No, I've been to the Claremont in Atlanta, and it certainly felt underground.
No. Claremont is totally different.
So anyway, they built Seattle twice. They built Seattle, they had a fire, and it wiped out Seattle, and they were stoked about it. Nobody died, and they were happy because the first design was a bad design. So what they needed to do was raise everything up. And so they decided they were going to raise the streets up 10 feet. And so they built these walls to support the streets, but the merchants said, hey, we can't wait 10 years for you to build all these streets. We need to build our buildings now. So we're going to build our buildings at regular level, and everyone will go into the buildings at the regular level. When you raise the streets up, we'll just make the second floor the front door. And that's what they did. And so it was crazy, and they now there's all these underground tunnels, which is the remnant of the area between the street and the building. So every building's got like an easement around it that is this underground tunnel that is vacant. And all kinds of stuff went down in there. It was the red light district. You could buy drugs, opium dens, all kinds of crazy.
Opium den?
Opium dens.
Wow.
Still in Chinatown. Like, I went on the tour. So they have like a deal with 5 businesses, and they bring you down in there and give you a little history. But if you go to Chinatown, problem is still there. They're not letting you down in there for a tour. They have illegal gambling holes. They have got brothels. They have got opium dens. That's where I'm going next time.
Sounds like fun.
Yes, could I get into the opium den, please? Yes. But anyway, it was very neat.
Well, I was thinking brothel.
Very, very neat. And then I got out of there. And then after a while, I decided to just head back. I went over, had some food over at the place, the Central, their oldest bar, place where, you know, grunge really got going because they would play there. I think Jimmy had even played there because, you know, Jimmy is big. Jimmy's Seattle. And that's that. And then I'm home. But, man, great place. Western Swing, A+. If you can ever do the whole Western Swing, Denver, Sonoma, Seattle, the 3 most fun races on the tour.
Sorry.
All of the people who have said that over the years, I totally confirm that they are right. We had a good time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably will never be able to do 3 straight weeks like that.
Right. There are some people who can, though.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could if I really wanted to, but it would take a lot of planification.
It could be expensive.
Well,
it could be very expensive.
Especially 3 weeks of not working and just splurging.
That's what it is. The 3 weeks of not working. That's the problem. You know, and all the good stuff out there, too. Like, I went to Utah, which I told you about. And
well, I guess it wouldn't be that expensive if I'd be schlepping on the floor of your hotel room.
Well, exactly. That's why I got to get that problem sorted out. No joke. All right, let's talk a little NASCAR. Let's get going. But, yeah, you can tell I'm pretty fired up. And you can all send me an email, joe@wforadio.com. And now, though, we got to get serious. We got Brainerd, we got Indy, we got Factory Stock Podcast to do. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of stuff coming up for WFO. You know, I said something on the show last night that hopefully you WFO radio listeners on Ignition are also paying attention to, that we are going to have another feed that you will need to subscribe to if you are a diehard superfan of WFO. This feed that we are on right now, the podcast feed you are subscribed to, is very mature and very been around for the 10 years, or most of them of the 10 years. But we're going to have an additional feed that we need you to subscribe to. And that is going to happen around Indy time. And we need you to do it in a coordinated way, in a very, public way with the reviews and everything. It's like moving day, kind of. It's going to be like a moving day. And we're going to need everybody's support on that. It's going to be probably the biggest, most significant, most important initiative that has ever happened in the WFO universe, like behind the scenes. And that's why I'm like warming you up to it. Moving day, moving day, moving day, new feed, WFO, new feed. Be ready, etc. and so on. So, Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace. I did not get to take in much of the race. Fortunately, we have Giovanni in Miami here to break it all down for us. Now, I don't know if we got into Jimmy Johnson's crew chief being replaced last week. I think we mentioned it, but we didn't really go too much into it other than, hey.
Yeah, no, it was go time. That's it.
When you break up the band.
This kind of stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
How many lead singers do you got to go through before you find another one?
Dan Marino retires. How many quarterbacks do you go through before you get one?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I really felt like that Mr. H could have kept those two together.
I agree, but, what are you going to do?
Hey, guys, listen, here's the deal. Y'all need to figure it out.
That's it, right?
We were just going to be the guys that retired and, ended up kind of crappy at the end of your season, at the end of your career. But
you got to figure it out.
We think you guys have got what it takes. It's in there. Figure it out. You're married. And we're not letting you get divorced.
Till death do you part.
Till death do you part. Exactly. And let's not talk about that. But Chase Elliott goes out there, dominates Watkins Glen. This kid is a road course racer.
Road courses are the new Bristol, and this kid, back-to-back Watkins Glen races for him.
Road courses are the new Bristol. Listen, I
wish we had coined that phrase.
Do I pat myself on the back a lot about a lot of things? I don't know. I'm asking because this is one that I think I should have packed myself on the back a little more. Road courses are the new Bristol.
You need to stop touching yourself.
Is such a perfect call.
It really was a good one.
And it's a long time ago.
Woo!
So much so that they're inventing road course races out of oval races.
And they call them Rovals.
Right. Like, this is why I'm annoyed. Like, if this sport, like even in NASCAR, like with SiriusXM and my time there, and the people who are real, like, if you're a real NASCAR talker, the takes should matter, man. We've had some unbelievable takes that were totally against the grain of what everybody else was saying. But road courses are absolutely the new Bristol. Where do people get pissed off? Road courses. Where does the anger happen? Road courses. Where does all the action happen? Road courses. Are they making more? Yes.
And if they could make more, they probably would.
Yeah. Crazy, but it's true. Chase Elliott wins the race. Martin Truex Jr. second. Denny Hamlin third. Let's just go right into it and hear from Chase. What's Chase got to say?
Well, we've never done, this as a team. This was the first time we ever gone somewhere and sat on the pole and led the most laps and won the race. I've never done that in my career, and I'm sure Alan has, at some point. But as a group, we've never done that. So I just feel like that to me is I feel like the biggest piece of the whole weekend is just knowing that we're the type of team and the caliber of team that can go and put on those kind of performances, and those are the kind of performances you have to put on to compete with those guys that win often, So we just need to go do that more often, and I think we can. I think we can run with them.
Wow, very good, and it is a dominating weekend. Going out there,
he only
getting the
led
job
80
done.
out of the 90 laps. It wasn't that dominating.
Good for him. Good on him.
No, hey, and you know what? Truex Jr. was on his tail. Like it seemed like the whole last two segments. So it wasn't really like he just ran away from the field or anything. And with road courses being the new Bristol, the action was up and down the track everywhere. It was Kyle Busch versus, from lap 1, the 24, William Byron, young Lord Byron. And Kyle Busch spun on the first corner trying to get it, go inside in that first turn. And then he got upset with Byron later on. He punted him, and I guess he tried to do the same with Bubba Wallace, who he was not happy with, and Bubba was not taking it, and he punted him back. It was good for Bubba. One of those like, hey, I don't care who you are.
Diepenhock said he loves the fact that Bubba was not taking it anymore from Kyle Busch.
He shouldn't take it from anybody.
Like, I'm not taking it.
No, that's good. That shows straight. It shows the level of everything, of like experience and maturity.
Love it. I just found out an interesting.
Remember when Joey fought back?
And people didn't like him for fighting back. They didn't like him for fighting back against Matt Kenseth.
Against Kenseth, remember Denny Hamlin? He used to have issues.
He and everybody had issues.
Well, because everybody treated him like a kid, and they were just trying to like slap him around. And
they were trying to slap him around. That's exactly right. Hey, I just found an interesting new feature on NASCAR.com that I actually like. I'm always attacking them for things that
results?
I don't like. Well, there's like a little paper next to the name.
Huh?
Like a little square with a line. Do you see it, or do you have it up?
On the front page?
On the results. Watkins Glen International results, race recap.
A paper next to the line?
Look at Eric Jones.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Exactly. Not all of them have it. They should all have it. But each one that has it, you click it, and it gives you that driver's race recap.
Oh, wow.
Eric Jones finished 4th, blah, blah, blah. It's Jones's 8th top 5 finish of the season. Chase Elliott brought home the win. Martin Truex Jr. finishing 2nd. Denny Hamlin 3rd. Ryan Blaney 5th. Elliott came in with victories. Jones earned 39 points, increasing his total to 598. He's ranked 13 in Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. The 4th-year driver, qualified 14th, blah, 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 blah. It's his race recap.
That's excellent. It looks like they got one for Parker,
right.
Lord
Why
Byron,
do they
McDowell.
Right.
They only got 5, I guess. But you know what?
Every driver should have that.
Absolutely.
Every driver. It's great.
Absolutely.
Like, you want to be able to access the information about your driver. Look, Parker Kligerman's got one. Finished 26th, blah, blah, blah. A lot of it is boilerplate, right?
I got to tell you, maybe they just started rolling this out because I've never noticed that.
I just noticed it for the first time.
And so maybe, they're going to test it out and on 5 drivers or it's random.
Well, I'm clicking on all. I just clicked on all of them. I think it's great.
I agree.
Everybody should have that. I wonder what Lord Byron did this. What's his story? He finished 21st. Chase Elliott brought home the win. That line is the same. Elliott won stage 1, stage 2, adding 20 bonus points for the weekend. Byron earned 22 points over the weekend, giving him 604 on the season. He ranks 12th. So you get the most up-to-date.
Got some highlights with him in it, too. I think that's great.
Super great.
Do it. Do it more.
Do it more. Every driver.
Early and often.
Every driver. Here's the remainder of the results. Denny Hamlin 4th. No, Denny Hamlin 3rd. Eric Jones 4th. Ryan Blaney 5th. Matt DiBenedetto. Matty D! 1 spot off. How did I do in the fantasy? Let's just skip that because I had Matty D on the team. Let's just skip to the fantasy. No, I'm not going to do that. Yes, I am. Let's see.
All right. Matty D, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Brad Kay, and Kurt Busch round out the top 10. Kyle Busch, 11. Eric Almirola, 12.
What
Chris
happened?
Buescher, 13. Alex Bowman,
Gio in
14.
Miami. No!
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 15.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
McDowell,
Was this a setup?
Suarez, Menard, Jimmy Johnson, 19. Clint Boyer, 20.
I go to the Fantasy League to see my own score because I think it's going to be good, only to find Giovanni in Miami there has won the week.
Woo! Oh, this couldn't be any better. It is a perfect time to talk fantasy.
Ugh. Did you know that? That you had won the week?
Well, yeah, I pulled up the results earlier, so I didn't know.
Well, there you go. Did you give all the results?
I'm not certain.
Bowman and the Showman, 14th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 15th. Michael McDowell,
I definitely
16th.
got all the way
Suarez,
to Byron.
Paul Menard, Jimmy Johnson, Clint Boyer, William Lord Byron, 21st. David Reagan, Joy, 23rd. Matt Tiff, Ryan Newman, Parker Kligerman, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, 28th. Landon Castle, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Josh Bilicki, 32nd. Cody Ware, Corey LaJoie, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Priest, and Reed Sorensen. Why doesn't someone hire Matty D? Matty D should be a free agent pickup as soon as he is available. One of these better teams should be trying to get Matt DiBenedetto, I think. The guy has done nothing but show upside. Here he is, 6th again. So he runs on a road course. The guy's good. Matt DiBenedetto is in his 5th season of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing and first with the Levine family. Or why should the poor Levine family have to lose their driver? They got a little bit of a lightning in a bottle right now. Good job for them. Making a business. Matty D, man. Matt DiBenedetto. We got to get him on the show. Like, we become fans of Matt DiBenedetto. And there are the results for the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series action out there at the Glen. Watkins Glen. And here's the Fantasy League results. Let's go right into it. Gio in Miami wins the week.
Way to go, Gio. Woo!
Kind of a crushing victory, like Chase Elliott, like 397.
I must have had Chase Elliott. Let's
Team 12, 363. That's a great idea. Patrick the Webmaster, 357. Stubo, 352. Beer Eater Racing, 81. 350. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, 346, along with Keen Racing. Mischief Bent Valve, 341. Northwest Nitro Fanatics, 339. And Dirty Hippies, 333. Most points, biggest gainer, Gio, 397.
Dude, no wonder. I had
position.
Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and DiBenedetto.
Wow. Biggest loser, Tennessee Money Man.
Oh, Money Man, what's going on there?
The overall, up 94 now, Steve the Trucker. I can see your Almirola's. Who wants to change his name back to Steve the Trucker if he gets on the trophy? What did people voted? Yeah, we did. I got a couple of emails. Here's emails. Let's see. Came in last week from Steve the Trucker was on. I said, Joe at WFOradio.com. Please send us an email. Like, here's one from Larry in Minnesota. No freaking way. Steve the Trucker gets his name on the trophy. It's got to be I Can See Our Almirola's. Here's one from Reggie in Sheboygan. He says, no way. I Can See Our Almirola's is way better than Steve the Trucker. This one is from... Larry, he says, Steve the Trucker, no way. I Can See Your Almirola's. Yes way. And so it's 3 emails come in. All say no to Steve the Trucker changing his name.
Wow. Well, we'll see how we'll keep a tally as the season progresses.
Yes, exactly. Here's one from Brian Spink. Says, no way, Steve the Trucker. I Can See Your Almirola's a much funnier name for the trophy.
There you go.
There it is. Brian Spink did not send that one. I could have let Steve Trucker think of that, though. It would have been funny. Steve the Trucker leads the way. I Can See Your Almirola's. Jambalaya J Racing is second. Patrick the Webmaster is third. And a legitimate shot, Patrick the Webmaster, to get on the trophy. You should be spending a lot of time. Bug Barn fourth. Fifth Bull's Wool.
Bobby.
Southern Racer X 6th. Smothered and Covered
Bobby got
seventh.
his shirt. He was sizing them out there for people.
Sizing them up. Royal Flush Racing, 8th. 9th, Craig in Newhall, and 10th. Rich in Saugus, down 5, though, Rich. Ooh.
Well, that's because he was whitewater rafting out there.
Mr. Fantasy NASCAR and Stubo, 11th and 12th. 13th team, 12th. Tom Inc., 14th, and El Jefe, 15th. That goes back 300 points, though. So the top of the sheet has it. Remember when everyone was tight?
Yeah.
Now it's not the case. On the 5s, El Jefe, 15th. 20th, Dirty Hippies, just behind Elephant Racers and Millerman. Millerman got a shirt. Millerman, we always say, Millerman doesn't listen anymore. Millerman doesn't like us anymore. Millerman bought a shirt.
Way to go, Millerman.
He was one of the first. Keen Racing, 25th. 30th, Lowe's Chincones. Lowe is just behind Little Lowe. Little Lowe, who is in 7th grade, is giving Lowe a ride. And the Lowe family, let's just update everybody that Mrs. Lowe did not win the contest. But she finished 4th overall in her class and was very proud of everybody voting every day, voting. And it's the kind of thing where, you know, some people could buy votes. And we know I never bought votes. I voted for free every day, every 20. But it's like, do you want to buy votes? You spend $500, you can buy. And that's what the winners obviously did. I think if we did all the, like, you know, the grassroots votes, Mrs. Lowe definitely won. So there it is. Keen Racing, 25th. Lowe's, 30th. 35th, DRT Dirt Girl. Just behind Spider Monkey and WFO Joe.
Oh, Gary,
I
dropped the anchor this week.
I leapfrog Gary. And who is within my clutches? I am just...
Low, I guess.
20 points behind Lowe and Little Lowe.
Well, 40
behind Little Lowe. But guess what?
That could be easily made
Guess
up
who's coming? That would be a good talking point if I outfinished Lowe.
Well, if you had 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th like I did.
That's crazy.
That was just
Tennessee Money Man plummeting down to 40th. 45th is Moonchild. Gio in Miami with your great week up to 44th. Still behind
Look at that. 44th after
DRT 99, 50th.
After having a perfect week. I could not have a better week than that,
Nope.
I think.
Misship Bent Valve and Easy 009. Team Gray, 54th.
Hey, up a spot.
Fleet Tree, 55th. And Race Guitar, just toiling. Race Guitar, come on.
Isn't he always just toiling in the back?
Yeah. And there you have it. Fantasy League results. The WFO Radio Fantasy League. Very impressive stuff. All right, let's keep on going. Let's keep moving. Formula One. Lewis. Gio was telling me about the race, and I was like, Gio, what happened in the race? And he's like, oh, this happened and that happened. I was like, this all sounds very familiar. And it turns out I did see the race.
We talked about it.
Well, when you're on the West Coast, it was
right.
perfect time.
Yeah,
and I watched it while I was going to work. And look, here's the thing, okay?
That's why I'm giving you the recap, and then I'm like, we talked about this right after the race.
Yeah, we even texted. Lewis Hamilton, God. That's what it is.
Unbelievable.
The guy is amazing.
And
the drive was
just
incredible.
seem to make all the right calls also.
Yes.
The luck is, he's got the lucky horseshoe. He took it from Jimmy.
Are we going to get Max Verstappen? That's what I want to know now. That's all I'm focused on.
Well,
are we getting Max Verstappen?
We may find out. This kind of stuff happens during this summer break. A lot of silly
If you were
stuff.
Max Verstappen, would you come to us, though?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be a little afraid to, but if he's the one that returns the Scuderia to prominence.
Oh, my gosh. He'll be like a total.
He'll be a god. He'll be a racing god. Because he's got talent. That boy's got talent.
He really does. But right now, it's all about Lewis Hamilton. He did the early on stop. He fell behind 20 seconds, and he made up the ground, and he won the Grand Prix. 3 laps to go. Verstappen was out of tires. Lewis passed him and won the race.
It was unbelievable, those last 20 laps. And actually, if you really think about it, it was like the last 14.
Schumacher drive.
Because I believe he came out in a little bit of traffic when he first changed laps. So not came out in traffic, but was dealing with lapped cars. And with about 13 to go is when he finally cleared them, and then he started knocking them off. He was knocking off a second and a half a lap at that point. Unbelievable.
Lewis has got haters, but really...
well, I don't know how you can hate the guy. I mean, you may not like the guy or his personality or anything, but
even his personality isn't bad. He's a little...
eccentric?
Cocky. A little, like a minor, like occasional... Like, you could be like,
I've never
how do you be a world celebrity?
I mean, he's
without
young, he's wealthy,
feeling it a little bit.
He's single, parties. He loves hanging out here in the States.
Loves it.
I mean, what's wrong with it? What could be wrong with that?
Exactly.
I think he's got it going on right, too. He's not tied down. He's just living life.
Living life, man. Livin. So true. So Lewis Hamilton. Haas F1 report. What do you got for me?
It was not a good week for Haas. Romain Grosjean just broke again and finished dead last. And I believe Magnussen was just toiling around between 12 and 15 the whole race. So look, I think this is a learning season. And we'll just take our lumps and hopefully they'll be able to build a better car in the offseason and come back next year because the constructors... I mean, they're battling they're in 9th right now, a few points behind 8th. They got a good amount of points on Williams, but, I mean, that's it. I mean, really. Williams...
Well, here's the thing is, at what point do you abandon this season and start working on next season?
Well, I think if that's the case, they probably should have done it already.
They should do it already. Like, you abandon the season and you go and develop for next year. Like, this thing isn't working.
Shit show.
And next season, maybe we can figure something out.
Maybe now is the time. Now in this break, you come back and you realize, you know what? Let's start concentrating on next season.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So there you go. There's your Haas F1
summer
report.
Break for everybody. There's no Indy race last week and none this week. So that's that.
The Hungaroring recap, Haas F1. Like, I just want to go down to the quotes. Here we go. One each. Romain Grosjean, driver of the number 8. I was happy with the beginning of the race. The car felt okay on softs. I was holding everyone behind. That's something we knew from the race pace, and I was happy with that. Then we fitted the hard tire, which we hadn't really run over the weekend. And I think today you didn't want to be on the hard tire. There was no grip. It was impossible to warm them up. Ultimately, we had a water pressure issue and had to retire the car anyway. Water pressure. That's Grosjean. K-Mag says the car was okay in the race today. Not too bad, at least, for our level. Considering the problems we've had this year, it was pretty quick race pace. Not good race pace, but compared to ourselves in the past, I'm happy we're headed into the summer break now. We all are in the team. Everyone's ready for the break. We'll come back stronger. Right? But are you? You're not allowed to do anything. Nobody's allowed to work. So what are you going to do? You're going to come back and have a problem. Hopefully you'll put your minds on it. Like, obviously people work. They think about stuff, but you're not allowed to do anything. Supposedly you're not allowed to send an email. How they police that, I have no idea. It was a pretty tough race, says Gunther Steiner. In the end, we showed some fight with some other midfield teams. A lot is in these tires, which makes these races so unpredictable and almost weird. K-Mag put up a good fight. Unfortunately, Roman's tires just died on him. Then we had an issue with his water pressure. At the end, it's a difficult situation to be in, dealing with these tires and getting them to work. We keep trying until something changes. And there it is. That's your Haas F1 report. What can you say about that? Right? It just is what it is. What else went down this weekend that we need to dive into? I can tell you New York Yankees baseball is going along pretty well. Just won 8th in a row, setting records against the Baltimore Orioles, like just throwing them a beating. And the Boston Red Sox just took a beating.
They have been.
Like, they came back at us. They won 3 out of 4 after a couple of weeks ago. And
they beat us the first 3 games of the series. Then we won Sunday night. Then they lost 3 or 4 to Tampa Bay. Got swept in Tampa Bay, or by Tampa Bay.
The letdown games.
And then we swept them over the weekend 4.
Threw them a beating.
That's right.
They deserved it. And now New York Yankees baseball is looking pretty good,
well,
man.
the Red Sox are definitely not a concern at this point. They might not even do anything. They're like 6 games back of the wild card, of the second wild card.
You have the wild card standings up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are 6 games back of the second wild card. Can you imagine if the Red Sox don't make the playoffs?
They probably won't.
Wow.
It's hard to repeat.
It is hard to repeat.
It's hard to repeat. It hasn't been done since 2000.
The wild card race in the American League, Cleveland Indians are up 3 games over the Tampa Rays and 3.5 over the Athletics. The Red Sox are 6 back. And in the National League, the Washington Nationals have the wild card spot, and the Phillies are 1.5 back. The Cardinals are one further back behind them.
Well, their top 2 make the playoffs, remember?
Yeah. So you got a great race.
They play a 1 game for the wild card.
The Mets
are
in the wild card race.
Yeah, they're on a super hot streak. I think they've won, 6 in a row, 9-1 in their last 10. They just played a long series against the Marlins and whooped them pretty good.
They whooped them up, pretty badly. The Marlins are 17 games out of the wild card. Do you think that they've got a shot?
No.
42-71. Much better than the Detroit Tigers and Baltimore Orioles. And better than the Kansas City Royals as well, the Marlins. They are not the worst team in the league by a couple of teams. Good for them. Way to go, Jeter.
Yeah, no, Detroit has been horrible. And Baltimore hasn't been very good either. We've abused them. Everybody's abused them. But they're who knows? You know? So Bill Walsh used to say you're only competing against 7 or 8 other teams really every year. Not everybody's on the same agenda and trying to win every year.
Right. There's different cycles going on, different things happening. Very interesting. All right, what else do we need to throw out there? Important information.
No, and I guess in the rest of Sports Collision, football is definitely back. We discussed it last week. The Hall of Fame game was on Thursday.
You just informed me that the Miami Dolphins are getting ready to
Well, as I was about to say, tomorrow is full-on preseason as everybody will be playing it. So check your local listings, and I believe NFL Network is carrying a ton of games and so forth. But, yeah, football is definitely here. The preseason is beginning. And Hard Knocks started on Tuesday night, which was last night.
You sent me this link to Underground Atlanta. It looks like new experiences coming to Atlanta's oldest streets. But I don't know what it is. Like, what is this?
It's in the underground. It's downtown. It's just like shops.
Oh, but it's not actually underground.
No, it literally is.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is this? Is this something like...
From like the Underground Railroad or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's a history.
The remnant of the city, General Sherman, right?
Gooby?
Wow. Georgia legislator in 1837 had voted to build the Western Atlantic Railroad to open trade. Atlanta was selected to be the site of the lines of depot. The city was incorporated as Atlanta in 1847. And when did... there it is. The area surrounding the depot had become congested with trains, horse and buggies, pedestrians, automobiles. The area became so congested that the city built iron bridges over a few of the streets for automobile traffic. That was in the 1910. 1927. It just didn't say anything about burning down Atlanta. In the song Preachin' the Blues, Bessie Smith sings about the viaducts down in Atlanta, GA, underneath the viaduct one day, drinking corn and hollering hooray, piano playing till the break of day, listen below. This is a nice little piece. This is a nice little web.
Writing's not that easy.
Oh, but we got to hear an ad. Spots. See, that's where it went off the rails. Oh, well. As many of our listeners. I encountered a listener who was like, yeah, and then I fast forward through the commercials. And I was like, hopefully you Next time you need some coffee, you're going to call Marvin Rodak, right? Oh, yeah, of course. And the guy was telling me that as he bought a T-shirt. After Prohibition ended, the need for speakeasies, along with the change in business ownership, the entire subterranean area, 12-acre, 5-block stretch of street was completely forgotten about. I'm reading this story, and I never got the area surrounding the depot had become congested, trains, horses, and buggies. The area became so congested that the city built iron bridges over a few streets for automobile traffic. That's in the 1927, underneath the viaduct one day. So underneath these bridges is basically what we're talking about. The entire subterranean area was forgotten about. Plaza Park was built and later renamed Peachtree Fountains Plaza, which sits at a modern entrance to the underground Atlanta. Oh, I got to go check this out. How come I don't know about this?
Yeah, don't you go to Atlanta like twice a year or something?
Exactly, but the problem with Atlanta is the traffic.
Oh, and isn't the
track is in
really
Commerce?
Far?
Yes, the track is in Commerce. So you land in Atlanta, and you got to get out of there, man. You got to get out of there. Get out of there as fast as you can. If you land at like 3 o'clock, get out of there, man. Hurry. Get out. It's a race against time. Otherwise, you get trapped in there, and you're there for hours and hours and hours. Now, what were you going to say, Sports Collision?
Well, I mentioned football's back. Hard Knocks started last night. And this year,
who's the team?
The Raiders.
The Raiders. And is this year the first year in Vegas? They're not in Vegas yet. The stadium is not done.
The last year in Oakland, I believe, or possibly. I'm not certain.
Please explain, though. The people of Oakland are not angry that the Raiders are leaving. And
is that a fact
I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know. Because I believe they're not happy.
Well, I was under the impression that people are saying like the Raiders are going to be in Vegas, but they're still going to rep Oakland somehow. That the Oakland fans are still going to go
silver and black?
Because they travel well. I don't know. Like, oh yeah, just because they're in Vegas, the people in Oakland are still going to like them, and they're just going to go to Vegas to see them. You know what I mean? Someone's trying to make that case to me.
And who's that? Because I don't buy that. I don't think so.
Since Raiders fans travel
By
so
the way,
well.
yeah, no, it's a 600-mile trip, almost 560 miles. They're not traveling 8 hours.
Well, I think
9
it would be.
hours.
I think it would be a flight. I think you would take a cheap flight.
I guess it
like
could
what's
be.
a cheap
Probably
flight from
$100
Oakland to Vegas, right? Cheap
all right, I had to
flight,
consider that.
Oakland to Vegas for the night and be an Oakland Raider fan in Vegas.
I don't know about that. I'm not buying it.
I don't know. That's what people are saying.
But the Raiders are coached by Chucky now, and if there's ever the guy to play the role of football coach, it's Chucky, and he's great at it. And the show should have been a lot more John Gruden and not some of the other stuff going on.
Is this going to be his first year back or second year back?
Second. He
year
was
back.
coach last year, yeah. And, so he's got this. He signed a 10-year deal, so he's not going anywhere for a while at least.
That's interesting. I like Hard Knocks.
I've always enjoyed it. I think it's entertaining, and it's just that.
The big discussion is that NHRA needs a Hard Knocks style show.
I get it. Everybody's got one at least. They follow college football players around. Baseball doesn't really have
listen,
one.
you know what? I got to tell you, though. We are totally, really missing the ball. The Formula One show that's like a Hard Knocks show that is on Netflix, which neither of us have.
Well, I have access to Netflix, but it's only on one TV because I lost it.
Supposedly,
I've lost the login and password.
Yeah, well, exactly. But maybe one of us is going to have to spring for it, man. This Formula One show, everybody says it's one of the best shows on TV ever.
Well, I'm really considering dumping the cable company. So
we're back to this. We're cutting the cord. What would you go with then? You've got ATT right now and Uverse. Okay.
Yeah,
so
but
what
they
would you
don't
do?
have. They got into a fight with the NFL, and they dropped the NFL Network, and they dropped CBS, and football's coming. So, if I can't watch football, that's the only reason I really pay for the service to watch sports.
Is that just AT&T? I've kind of heard about this, and I know my mom was complaining she can't see Colbert anymore
because it's AT&T and DirecTV are owned by AT&T, so it could be affecting both. There's a lot of issues, yeah.
And so CBS is off
the air. So if I got to get it off over the air anyway. Yeah, no, I called and complained because, they give me that they're charging us too much. I'm like, I don't care. Look, that's not my problem.
Right.
I'm like, I pay for this. I pay a hell of a lot of money to you guys every month.
Yeah.
I expect to turn on the TV and watch every channel that I pay for. I go, I pay extra for the sports package. And you dump the NFL Network. And so they gave me a little bit of a discount, but not where I need to be.
Here we are having this conversation again on WFO.
This happens every so often because the reality is that you can't stay with one company.
Okay, but
anymore.
What about
you have to be switching around or dumping them. Otherwise, you get a deal for 12 months, maybe 24 months, but then after that, they're charging you twice what they were charging you.
All right, I have a Roku player, and I like it, but you can't channel surf on it. It's impossible.
No, but they have much more advanced stuff. The Apple TV, the Sony.
The Roku.
But you have a Sony. You could. Yeah. They have Sony TV too.
Let me tell you, this Roku thing is really one of the better things. The stock went from like $20 to like $80. But anyway, so what are you going to do? Just get the internet access through AT&T, or are you going to switch all the way?
I think I'm going to call Comcast or one of the other competitors and see what kind of deal they'll give me first before I
just super fast internet.
Yeah,
and
just leave AT&T. I'm not happy with them, so I'm not going to give them anything. I'll come back in a couple of years when they want to give me a good deal.
Right. See, my AT&T, I have great super high technology here now.
Right. No, right, because you have the fiber here, but they don't have that at my house.
Right.
They have, they're fast.
And so what would I do? I would just say, you know what, the UVerse that you provide me, listen, guys, it stinks. You're not good anyway.
I just want the internet service.
And then just go buy an Amazon card or a Roku card or an Apple TV card or one of each, and figure out which one's the best and plug them all into my TVs and just be set.
Yeah, or one for each, a different one for each TV. Yeah. There you go.
It's just not that stable, though. The other day I was having a problem. Such is life, right?
Yeah. I mean, at least in my house, the only person that really watches live TV is me when I watch the sporting events. Everything else, Mrs. Gio and the kid watch everything like DVR'd or
well, Alan Reinhardt says he doesn't have anything.
On demand from the apps.
I'm becoming one of these people that I'm not home enough.
Right.
Like it's not even about whether it's good or it's bad.
No, I understand.
How many days am I home to enjoy this? No, I'm not using it. So
and not to spend $200 to $300 a month.
Well, if I could save, I'm just going to make a weird number. $60.
No, I think it'll be more than that. I think you'll save $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Call it $80. That's still $1,000 a year.
Yeah, and you know what I've been doing a lot of. I have the Sirius XM gave me a screaming deal on their service for 3 years, and I just got it. It's like 3 years of service for $100-something. It's like, yeah, it came out to like $3 a month, and so I did it. I am listening to John and Susan on the Sirius XM app a lot.
I got the baseball package, so I listen to them all.
Not watching games, but I'm listening.
No, but when I'm in the car, I put the radio feed.
That is just great. Walking around airports with my Bluetooth headphones, seeing everybody go by, listening to baseball. It's really good. It's soothing experience and a lot of fun, especially with all the winning that's going on.
Like a good Clay Bear, Torres is there.
Oh, boy.
You haven't heard that one?
No, I haven't heard it.
When he hit the Grand Slam the other night, he busted that one out.
Did he?
Yeah, I didn't make that up.
That is a little corny. But it's okay, though. I like it.
I mean, that's not John Facenda saying the autumn wind is a Raider.
No.
But nothing is.
Listen, John Sterling is fantastic. I love the guy. And however long he goes. They had another.
But anyway, watch Hard Knocks, people. It's entertaining.
It was not that great. Yeah, Hard Knocks is good. Like I said, we need an NHRA style.
And I always remember, play the game that Gio plays when he watches shows and watches the coaches. What would Bill Belichick do?
Right.
How would he react to this, and how would he handle that situation?
Exactly, Mundo. All right. Well, I think we are good. This weekend was epic. John Force's 150th, Austin Prock's first, Matt Hartford getting the win. A lot of people out there listening to WFO, NHRA Nitro, of course, and this show. Good stuff happening. U.S. Nationals coming up. Hopefully everyone's going to come out. We already know Steve the Trucker won't be able to be there all the days. But we're going to have a good time.
I heard about his stuff.
Yeah.
He's, I didn't know that he wasn't the most seniorized trucker.
No,
it's not Steve. It's Brian, isn't it?
No, Steve the Trucker.
Oh, all right.
Steve the Trucker. Hey, if you want WFO Radio t-shirts, go to nitrofishracing.com or the Nitrofish trailer out at an NHRA national event. They're actually very surprised at the demand for the shirts. We outsold Greg Anderson in our first week.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what's happening
So are you saying we're running out of T-shirts? We
no,
might have to go
no,
to the second batch
I
already?
don't know, but that would be good news for us. Okay.
Record sales?
That's what it would be good news for us. So
I mean, if you guys really love us, just keep buying shirts.
WFO Universe.
Eventually we'll see a time.
Exactly.
Hey, those guys, the West Coast Choppers, man, they made all their money selling T-shirts, not just because of the show.
Everybody likes the T-shirt. It's a little racy, it's got a little attitude, and it's going to be good advertising for people.
It's very caricature-like also. So.
And people, most importantly, are going to see the shirt on your back and say, hey, what's up with that shirt? And you're going to say, man, this is a podcast, it's cool, you should listen to it. And you tell them to download it right there. NitroFishRacing.com. All right, everybody, that's
I don't understand how there's actual people that still don't know what WFO stands for.
Lots.
I've been running into that.
Solves the problem, doesn't it?
It sure does.
You can see it's obscured, but it's also kind of a little too obvious.
Kind of not obscured also.
I wish it was slightly less obvious.
Whatever. It is what it is.
That's the thing, man. Maybe I shouldn't be getting what I want on this one. Maybe people want a little more attitude.
Maybe that's why people like it.
Exactly. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. We'll see you next time right here on WFO Radio.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
I love WFO Radio.
Well, it's hard.